Sudurvibhavyam pranatasmi tatpadam.
Ato yatavanna vitarka gocharam.
Ato yatavanna vitarka gocharam.
Ceto manaha karma vacchogyanyasa.
Cheto mana karma vachaviranjasa.
Yadashrayam yataha pratiyate.
Yadashrayam yata pratiyate.
Sudo vibhavyam pranatasmi tatpadam.
Sudurvibhavyam pranatasmi tatpadam. Ladies. Ato yatavanna vitaka gocharam. Cheto mana karma vichaviranjasa. Yadashrayam yata pratiyate. Sudurvibhavyam pranatasmi tatpadam. Atha. Therefore, she decided to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Yatavat, as perfectly as one who perceives. Na, not. Vitarka gocharam, beyond all arguments, reason and sense perception. Cheto, by consciousness. Mana, by mind. Dharma, by activities. Vachobi, or by words. Anjasa, taking all of them together. We cannot understand them. Yat ashrayam, under whose control. Yena, by whom. Yeta, from whom. Pratiyate, can be conceived only that from him everything emanates. Suduri bhavyam, beyond our sense perception or consciousness. Pranata asmi, let me surrender. Tat padam, at his lotus feet. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, let me surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer my obeisances unto Him who is beyond the conception of human speculation, the mind, activities, words, and arguments, who is the original cause of this cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for He is beyond my contemplation, speculation, and meditation, is beyond all of my material activities. Can you repeat after me, please? Therefore, let me surrender. Unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And offer my obeisances unto Him. Who is beyond the conception of human speculation. The mind, activities, words, and arguments. With the original cause of this cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. Let me simply offer my obeisances, for he is beyond my contemplation, speculation, and meditation. He is beyond all of my material activities. So who is speaking here? Is you agree?
Is it Krishna?
Krishna. I guess because I'm just coming here. She was asking Krishna to open his mouth. That's what's going on. Actually, I was there before. I have in my room, and at the place where Krishna was eating mud, and I have a little bowl of mud. I will bring it if you want. You can have a piece of it. The guy was a bit. Anyway, we got this special dust from Vrindavan. Purport. One simply has to realize the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not try to understand Him by any material means, subtle or gross. Mother Yashoda, being a simple woman, could not find out the real cause of the vision. Therefore, out of material affection, she simply offered obeisances unto the Supreme Lord to protect her child. She could not do nothing but offer obeisances to the Lord. It is said, Achintya kala yebava natams takena yo jayet. Mahabharat Bhima Parva 522. One should not try to understand the supreme cause by argument or reasoning. When we are beset by some problem for which we can find no reason, there is no alternative than to surrender to the Supreme Lord and offer Him our respectful obeisances. Then our position will be secure. This was the means adopted in this instance also by Mother Yashoda. Whatever happens, the original cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sarva Karana Karanam. When the immediate cause cannot be ascertained, let us simply offer our obeisances at the lotus feet of the Lord. Mother Yashoda concluded that the wonderful things she saw within the mouth of her child were due to him, although she could not clearly ascertain the cause. Therefore, when a devotee cannot ascertain the cause of suffering, he concludes, Takte nu kampam susatmik samano, bunjana evatma kritam vipakam, redvavat tubi vidaram namaste, jivetayo muktipade sadayavak. The devotee accepts that it is due to his own past misdeed that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has caused him some small amount of suffering. Thus he offers obeisances to the Lord again and again. Such a devotee is called Mukti Pade Sadayava, that is guaranteed his liberation from this material world. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Matras Prasas Tikonteya, Sitos Nasukada, Agama Paidonitya, Stam Titik Sasvavarata. We should know that material suffering due to the material body will come and go. Therefore, we must tolerate the suffering and proceed with discharging our duty as ordained by our spiritual master. Om Agyanat Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. As was born in the deepest darkness of ignorance, but with the transcendental torchlight of knowledge, my spiritual master has opened my darkened eyes. I offer him my respectful obeisances. Tattenu kampam mishamiksamano, bunjana evatma kritam vipatkam, ridva vapudi vidadam namaste, jivitayam Multipale Sadayabhak. And what is this verse who says that we should accept tolerate the whatever happens to us and the liberation because our rightful claim. You know this verse? Is it that one?
Yes, that's the one.
Jivetale Multipale Sadayabhak. So devotees, Prabhupada explains that whatever may happen to us, we should accept it, tolerate it, accepting this as our token of what we deserve. And for those who have this mentality, liberation, muktipale, becomes an irrevocable fact. I remember that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you heard about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? What did he do? He was kind of a priest in Jagannath Puri, and he was issued from the. He's such a. I think he was in a manifestation of Brihaspati. He wanted to study Nyaya philosophy, logic, and at that time Brahmins were very, very, very strict, because what he did, it was not allowed to give this knowledge to the outside skirt of the institution. So what did he do, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? He learned by heart every scriptures which were part of the Nyaya philosophy. And he started to distribute them. And the Brahmins were about to kill him. Imagine how strict they were. If we, imagine us if we would kill everybody which is giving out the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That's certainly not our mentality. Anyway, what happened is that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the Jagannath Puri temple, of course he fainted. Mahaprabhu is very sensitive. And there is a very nice verse in Sanskrit, in Bengali, but the only word I remember from this word is pipilika. You know what means pipilika? It means an ant. And the devotees, they could see, they would bring the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Those who have been to Jagannath Puri, raise your hand. No one? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've been to maybe visited the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard his teachings for 1 week. And it's mentioned that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a huge body, he was very, very tall and very massive, like lion. But he fainted, and the Bengali verse, which saying that all these men, because they could see, they put some cloth, piece of cotton on his nostril, and they could see he was not dead, he was still living, So he was brought to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And when they carried him, they resembled a bunch of pipilika, of ants, which are carrying a grain of rice. That's the analogy. So who is the grain of rice? There in that situation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they went to Sarvabhauma, they went to the house, they brought him to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And as we know, he woke up and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya teach him his philosophy for 1 week. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not make any comment, or he didn't say anything, And then after 1 week, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him, "Are you sure you are understanding what I'm saying? You remember?" And what was the answer? I think he was speaking about Vedanta Sutra or what. So what did he say, my Prabhu? You know. He said, this scripture is like the sun, but with your explanation, you are covering the sun like a cloud. He could, you know, he was so, and it's interesting to see that Chaitanya Prabhu would not go to see every Dick, Tom, and Harry. You know this expression, like insignificant person. He will preach to the topmost personalities like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, like Digvijay, Prakasananda Saraswati. All people who were very influential. So these people being defeated in argument and logic by Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, all their followers would naturally follow in the footsteps of their master. So all that to say that this verse where at the last line is mentioned, Jivetayu Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhak. And what did he do? Because after having had the touch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became so much enamored and so much enthusiastic and enthused by his presence that he was saying, Jivetayu Mukti Pade Yo Bhakti Pade Sadaya Bhak. So this, for those who surrender to the Lord, expecting, accepting all difficulties with humble state of mind, liberation, which means mukti, becomes his rightful fact. But he changed the words. He said, Jiveta yo bhakti pade sadaya. Devotion because irrevocable. And you're right, irrevocable fact. But then what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? He said, you are not allowed to change the scriptures. You know, if it's mentioned mukti pade, it's not you are not allowed to put bhakti pade, it's mukti pade, liberation. And in that sense and situation, mukti pade also brings to liberation, to devotion. There is few instances where devotee feel authorized to change the scriptures, but they have always been corrected. There is this devotee which has written, he had changed the scriptures at some place. This devotee, you know, who Gita Govinda, Jayadeva Goswami, yes. You know, there is a big story, you know, where this verse mentions that to the devotee, the Lord personally comes and provides all his needs. Who said that?
Arjuna Chaya, something like that, Arjuna Chaya. So, I mean, in the class.
Or what is mentioned.
Yes.
And he scratched the word.
Yes.
And these two beautiful boys who came and provide so much food.
Yes.
And they said, we have a very bad. Our master told us to bring this food to you, but they have scratches in their back. And it's as if we scratch the scripture, it's like if we were scratching the Lord himself. And that's about. You know the story? So here, even Mother Yashoda, she is, of course, our guru. She accepts that she is unable to. Actually, there is a saying that trying to conceive the absolute, the spiritual world with mental speculation is like trying to find the square root, you know square root? Of a sonnet. So what is the square root of a sonnet? You know what is a sonnet? It's a poetic figure, poetic. Non? Il y a des alexandrins, il You know, sonnet, you know what is a sonnet?
Like Shakespeare's a sonnet.
Yeah. So trying to find the square root of a sonnet. It doesn't match, it doesn't go together, you know. So try to understand the absolute truth with mental speculation. It is irrelevant because it will not, how we say, it will not reach a conclusion. Spiritual realities have to be accepted by the descending process, like the other day, Dhananjaya was explaining, you know. So, ascending process doesn't work. Descending process means that what's his name? The son of Kardamamunian devotee, what's his name? Kapila, you know. He didn't invent a new philosophy. He revived again a philosophy which was lost. Even the Lord himself does not allow himself to present a new philosophy. So Prabhupada then in the purport explaining that what is the use of all this person today who are inventing new philosophy and new means of achieving liberation and this and that. This is everything is already in the scriptures. We just have to imbibe this knowledge.
Take the nectar.
Huh?
Take the nectar.
Yeah. Tatte lukampam susamiksamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam ritva bil vidadam namaste ye muktipade sadhaya. C'est ce que je viens de dire, ouais. D'accord. And I will not, that's not the verse I wanted. It's tat viganartam saguru mevavigaschet samik panik shrotriyam pramanistam. Tat viganartam. If we want to understand or to have an access to the spiritual knowledge, spiritual reality, we should approach the spiritual master and offering him all kinds of oblations and different offerings. And the criteria of an authentic spiritual master is that directly or indirectly is always speaking about Krishna. Because, you know, if we want, you know, because essentially, our movement is not a movement of qualification. It's a movement of, this I have repeated many times, and it was said actually by Indra Swami, you know, that what is our qualification after all to go back to Godhead? You know, devotees don't feel that they just deserve, but being in contact with someone which is related to Krishna can allow us to go back to Krishna. And I said many times, you know, once I was at the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. You know, where Prabhupada used to spend so many years before coming to the West, being inspired by Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami. You know, the samadhis are there. And if you go, you do the parikrama of this temple, there is the samadhis of many sadhus, many saints, like there is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and so many others. And there is also the samadhi, the Puspa samadhi of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Everybody knows Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And I paid my obeisances quite, you know, just like that, because out of duty, you know. And it came so hard so strong in my heart, you know. And I got emotion, you know. I became emotional that who ever came back to Godhead, who has not, without receiving the mercy of a Vaishnava, you know. So we won't be able to go back to Godhead by our own strength, you know, or to understand Krishna by our own speculations. It's just by Krishna's mercy, or by receiving the mercy of someone which is dear to Krishna. That's why we should be very careful to be very gentle with the devotees, because by their means we can be accepted by Krishna. The example is given that if you love me, you love my dog. If you kick the dog of the master, how will the master feel? You know, he will kick you maybe. You know, that should be very kind to the dog, and then the master will, oh, this man is nice, or the child. You know, if we are nasty with the Sanjita, how will Lochananda feel? You know, but if we pamper them, we show her a lot of appreciation, and she will be happy, and his mother also, and then we shall be favored, you know. So, Indranjana Swami used to tell us, this is not a movement of qualification, it's a movement of relation, you know. To being favored by the devotees, we can be blessed by Krishna. And it's all the way it's like that, you know. Unless you get the mercy of Balaram, how can you reach Krishna? Unless you get the mercy of Srimati Radharani, how do you get to Krishna? And as you know, the devotee is more merciful than Krishna. Sometimes. Do you have an example of that? Some devotees who were more merciful than the Lord himself? A very crude example. Yeah. I was thinking so that. Nityananda Prabhu. Yeah, Nityananda Prabhu, you know, when Jagannath heard all the way to blood to Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu was ready to kill these two rogues. Jagannath. Did you hear about Jagannath before? No. Did you hear about Nityananda and Nityananda Prabhu? So someone should tell him who about Nityananda Prabhu.
Now?
Not now, but maybe she could tell him.
Breakfast time.
Breakfast time, yeah. No, it's already.
No, I mean to say breakfast time.
Oh, yeah. And they say also that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread Krishna consciousness only in India, but Srila Prabhupada has spread Krishna consciousness all over the world.